I genuinely think it's so bad that the king might have to stand aside, and I genuinely have a way out for him, which is to say that his medical situation is the reason that he's doing that. We will all know it's for the good of the royal family, and they start with a clean slate with William and Kate.
I think the king is compromised by his association with Andrew. I think there has been a cover-up. I think he knows a lot more than he's saying.
I don't think King Charles is going to survive this.
That's what Dan Wootton said. That's what Piers Morgan said. Like, I trust those guys.
I think he'll be gone within 6 months. I think that the official line will be it's due to his health. He'll use that.
Yep.
And William will ascend to the throne.
King Charles remains in hiding today. We haven't seen the monarch since his planned London Fashion Week appearance in the hours after his brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest. And Buckingham Palace hopes this keep calm and carry on approach will hold. Well, I can tell them then, it's not going to hold. Every time the royal family has tried to cover up the Andrew scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein, the situation has got worse. Silence simply doesn't cut it. Especially when you have the heir to the throne, Prince William, admitting at the BAFTAs last night that he's anything but calm, as the entire future of the British monarchy remains at stake.
I haven't watched last night. You need to be in a quiet state. You'll be in a calm state. I'm not at the moment. I'll save it for when I'm feeling ready.
Good, William, you shouldn't be calm. But I have to say, I feel for the guy. Because the Prince of Wales has tried desperately for 7 years to wake his father up to the perilous risks involving trying to cover up for Andrew, to no avail. And now we're in the mortifying and unedifying and, as I say, historic position where Commonwealth countries, our allies, are going public to insist that Andrew, who remains 8th in line to the throne, be removed from the line of succession.
He's written a letter to Keir Starmer in which he has said, Dear Prime Minister Starmer, in light of recent events concerning Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, I'm writing to confirm that my government would agree to any proposal to remove him from the line of royal succession. I agree with His Majesty that the law must now take its full course and there must be a full, fair and proper investigation. These are grave allegations and Australians take them seriously. So just to reiterate, that is a letter that the Australian Prime Minister has now written to Keir Starmer.
I repeat, silence will not hold, Your Majesty. Back here in the United Kingdom, even the mainstream media's shaky union with Buckingham Palace is showing cracks. With Jeremy Kyle, another big-time royalist, another big-time monarchist, going on Talk TV this morning and advocating for the king to go in this discussion with entitled author Andrew Lowney.
I think it's so bad that the king might have to stand aside, and I genuinely have a way out for him, which is to say that his medical situation is the reason that he's doing that. We will all know it's for the good of the royal family, and they start with a clean slate with William and Kate. What do you make of that, pal?
Yes, I mean, a number of people have suggested that. I've suggested that myself. I think it may be the only way to clean up the stables and start afresh. I think the king is compromised by his association with Andrew. I think there has been a cover-up. I think he knows a lot more than he's saying.
Lowney has said the king must speak out in regards to what he knew.
Being asked today about what the royal family themselves knew and what they were hiding. And I do think that the king does need to say what did he know, when did he know it, and what did he do? Because this crisis is getting very close to the throne itself. And I think there are a lot of wider questions for example, all those civil servants and diplomats, all those sort of people who wouldn't talk to me, so they weren't interested, who were actually covering for him as well. So I do think this scandal is going to just get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, bigger and bigger. I mean, Lowney has also raised questions of money laundering. using the royal family.
I mean, the easiest way to launder money is to, I'm afraid, have dealings with the royal family, because all their financial dealings are completely secret. And for example, we know through a BBC investigation recently that the money that was paid to buy Sunninghill, the marital home, which was sold for £3 million more than the asking price, with no other bidders, and with it no interest in it for 5 years, it was now derelict. That money was used to launder money into this country.
So you think that the former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has questions to answer about whether he either himself or certainly enabled money laundering to take place in the UK?
Yes, I mean, that was all done through secretive trusts. I don't think the proper checks were done by his lawyers in the way that would happen for anyone else. And I think, in the past, we've clearly had one rule for the royals and another for everyone else.
The Daily Mirror's resident Republican Kevin Maguire reported today, bit not said out loud, as preparations are starting for a state funeral and coronation in, I'm told, 12 months. No wonder William Mountbatten Windsor isn't calm when he faces questions about what he knew about his uncle Andrew and could soon inherit this crisis. Well, Maguire, let me tell you, William's hands are clean, okay? Don't you worry about that. Sadly, I can't say the same thing about King Charles. In America, where the king is preparing to make a historic state visit, the positioning is hardening. Watch Daily Mail columnist Maureen Callahan with my friend Megyn Kelly.
I don't think King Charles is going to survive this.
That's what Dan Wootton said. That's what Piers Morgan said. Like, I trust those guys. They not only are, a very famous British journalist. Well, Dan's an Aussie, but he's been living in Great Britain. But they covered the royals. That was their beat for many years. Like, they have very good sources inside, and neither one thinks that King Charles is going to survive this. Holy cow.
I think he'll be gone within 6 months. I think that the official line will be it's due to his health. He'll use that.
Yep.
And William will ascend to the throne, which is what the British people want.
Yep.
Frankly, what every sane person wants.
Yes.
And he will begin to clean house.
In quite an extraordinary move for the pro-monarchy newspaper, the Daily Mail then published this column from Maureen Callahan. She wrote, "If the monarchy is to survive, there is only one solution. King Charles must go. That might sound excessive, unprecedented even, but the current crisis engulfing the crown is grave indeed. Andrew's arrest, the police, unannounced, rousting this disgraced former prince from his bed at 8 a.m. is surely not the end of this scandal. It may only be the beginning. The revelations to come, the sordidness, the potential criminality, and who else might be implicated pose an existential threat to the future of the British royal family. It's what William is said to have been warning about, to nearly no avail. Convincing his father to strip Andrew of his titles, which was formally announced on October the 30th, 2025, took an ultimatum. William absolutely loathes Andrew and has for years, a well-placed source says. If the Prince of Wales had his way, he would have had Andrew banished. He told his father it's either him or me, so Charles had to step up and ice Andrew out. As one former royal aide put it, Charles is now a lame duck. Recall what the late Princess Diana said in her Panorama interview in 1995. Once she was manipulated into giving under false pretenses, but one in which she spoke the unspeakable. Charles, she told the world, wasn't up to the top job. At the time, her criticism was taken as the business of a scorned wife. 31 years on, Diana was right. Well, look, I'm not there yet. But to think that Charles can go on with his business without addressing this deluge is now more than naive. It is a death wish. These are extraordinary times. And for the monarchists and royalists who say I'm a traitor, I say you are missing the point. Would you have been advocating for the Nazi sympathizer Edward VIII to stay on the throne 90 years ago? No, I didn't think so. And we've got to look at just some of the damning new headlines of the past 24 hours, which include the fact British taxpayers were forced to pay for Andrew's massages as a trade envoy. Oh yeah, I'm sure given his track record, they were all completely above board, right? Just for his bad back. Some MPs are now calling for both Andrew and Peter Mandelson to be investigated for treason. That includes the ex-security minister, Tom Tugendhat, who is calling for a special committee to probe their links to Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Tugendhat told The Sun on Sunday, this affair raises urgent questions about foreign influences and national security. What did the palace know? What did ministers know? What else is being hidden? This goes beyond what a court would reasonably consider. Parliament must consider what it means for the country. If the worst is proved, do we need to revisit treason laws written 700 years ago? And I've obviously just mentioned Peter Mandelson, and I want to bring you some breaking news just in. In the past few moments, we have learned that Peter Mandelson has now been arrested.
We're looking at the growing pressure surrounding King Charles and the future of the monarchy. There has been intense online speculation about the King's health and whether he could consider stepping aside in the coming months. However, it's important to note that while His Majesty has publicly acknowledged undergoing cancer treatment, there has been no official confirmation of any abdication plans. At the same time, Prince William's recent public remarks have drawn attention, with many interpreting his tone as reflecting the seriousness of the moment facing the royal family. Questions are also resurfacing around Prince Andrew, with renewed calls from some commentators for further investigation and transparency. Again, these are calls and opinions, not confirmed legal outcomes. In his digest, Dan examines what is confirmed, what remains speculation, and how the palace may attempt to navigate what some are describing as one of the most delicate periods in modern royal history. We're also joined by former Head of Royal Protection Di Davies, who is calling for greater transparency and potentially a public inquiry into past handling of royal security matters. This is a pivotal moment for the monarchy, and the public conversation is only intensifying. Like this video for balanced royal analysis, subscribe for continued coverage and expert insight. Comment below, should the palace address these growing questions more directly? Stay informed, stay analytical, and we'll see you in the next report.